Afternoon, Chris. Must be a positive vibe around the training ground after last Sunday's win over Coventry. How's it been this week?
That's been very good. We've obviously such a busy period, that festive period for everyone, all the clubs in the Championship, 4 games in 10 days. I think everyone was in need of a break, in need of a rest, and to finish it on a high and get such a great win against the league leaders was perfect ending to a pretty gruelling period. So I think it was all about this week. We've been training, obviously. We've had a few days off. We've been training, but just finding that recovery really, which is critical this time of year.
Has it come at a good time to just maybe take stock, considering the amount of games we've had?
Definitely. Obviously, we have this FA Cup game, which is important because it's a competition we want to do well in, but it's a good. I always have my eye on this week or two because you don't have midweek games. You've got over that really busy period. You get together. There's a lot going on with the transfer window, obviously, everywhere and all around. But I think just that 20 games to go, you've got here now. It gives you a chance to reset.
Result aside, obviously a fantastic win against Coventry. What was it that pleased you most about it? There seemed to be like a real togetherness and a will to win throughout the game.
That's exactly it. The togetherness. We were a galvanised team. I said to the players before, no one gives us a chance, and they really fed off that, and they were really together. I think that was the highlight. It wasn't the best football we've played. It wasn't the best, but we scored some good goals, but no, it was all about the grit, the togetherness, those qualities that have been missing in some games where we've had possession, we've had this, we've had that, but we've missed that key ingredient to be a good team or a winning team is that togetherness, grit, that intangible stuff you can't quite sometimes put your finger on, but you can see it and feel it, and it was all there.
Is that the benchmark now, do you think? And have you spoken to the players about using that as the example now for the rest of the season, or certainly in this next block of games?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a big catalyst. I spoke to the players since. They've really enjoyed the day, the feeling, and obviously afterwards I think they've grown in confidence beating such a good team like that. We scored 3 goals, of course, and it's hopefully going to be a very important day for us. They don't get any easier. We've got tough games coming up, but I think it's something that can really galvanise us, and after a really difficult run to turn it round in such a fashion as to win a game like that, I think it's given them a lot of confidence. And I said to them before the game, it's a big game, and for big players to stand up, and they've thrived off that, and some of them really did deliver.
Looking at the stats of the game, possession-wise, I think we had about 25% possession, which is probably the lowest we've had in any game, maybe since you've come in as manager. Was that part of the game plan, or was it just how it panned out, considering the calibre of opposition?
Well, I don't think the game plan was to have 25% possession, but the game plan was to make sure that we were solid, definitely solid, against what I think is offensively the best team. So give minimal away, to try to be aggressive in the press, but be very, very solid when we are deep. And you could see later on when we went to a 5, we didn't give many chances away. So that had to be good. So that was the first thing, and naturally you're probably going to have less possession with that. And then with the ball, I think we didn't invite too much pressure. We got the ball forward a little bit quicker, which is something I thought would be important in the game. And overall, we've had games where we've had 75% possession and not maybe created too much with it. And I didn't think Coventry created too much with it either. So, yeah, to answer your question, we set up a plan to win the match, and in the end, you look at it and say that it worked.
One of the standout performers of that win was Wagner. He obviously came in. You spoke after the game, the fact that he'd had 1 training session, but he wanted to play. What does that tell you about his mentality, and is that the sort of example of mentality of player you want in the squad?
Definitely, because the hardest thing when you sign players is you the character side. You can get references, but there's going to be instances that test that character or their personality, and this was a perfect example of it. He's just come in. It'd be so easy to say, look, I'm not quite ready yet, I haven't played for a few weeks, they're still living in a hotel with his 3 young kids, and it'd be easy to just push that down the road a little bit. But for him to say, no, yes, I want to play, putting himself in that position says a lot. It says a lot, and it gains trust of me, the staff, the other players, the fans probably as well. So I think it's a great start for Kai.
And how has he settled in generally with everyone? He's been here a good.
He's settled in really well. Yeah, he's got there's 4 that speak German, obviously with him now. So there, gets communication side. He's been furniture shopping for 2 days straight. Apparently, he's been everywhere and trying to get things for his new house. But his friends are from Germany, so they can get over easier to help him. So he's had a busy few weeks, but he's taken it in his stride. He's not a 20-year-old. He's been around. He's played. He's a good age, so he can take it on and deal with it.
Just want to ask you about the fact we've had a few academy players in the matchday squad over the last sort of month or so. I know that maybe that's owed to injuries and suspensions, but can you just give a bit of insight into how they've been and what kind of experience they can take from that? The fact that you've worked with a lot of young players in your time, what can they take from this period?
Well, they can take a lot. We're always try to highlight to them it's learning. You might not get on the pitch, but to watch how the other players behave, how they do their pre-activation inside, how they warm up, how they talk to other players, their routines on and off the pitch. Just by observing, you can pick up a lot as a young player. So a lot of it is just giving them exposure to being on the bench, and maybe not necessarily with a view to coming on, but just to be around that, have that experience. Others a bit more ready, that you think if a situation arose, yes, there's a good chance they're going to come on and impact this. So we want young players coming through this club. That's the ideal. We want to bring players through that have come through the academy and can play for the first team. Obviously, there's some very famous names that have done that through this club, and I would love that more than anyone. So, given the players that have been working well, the opportunity to be around it is the first step to doing it. And they're all very good. They train with us a lot. We're not at the same site, which makes it a little bit more difficult, but I know all of the, certainly the 21s and a lot of the 18s through just having them up with us and training and stuff. So it's really important.
Looking ahead to Cambridge in the FA Cup on Saturday, are we likely to see some squad rotation considering the amount of games that we've had, and could any of those youngsters maybe feature on Saturday?
Possibly. I think there's always a balance to this because it's the next match, it's the most important one. We're away from home, that's an area we have to improve obviously, so my job is to get a balance right in team selection and try to continue the momentum of winning. Win after winning would be good, not taking anything for granted. We're at Cambridge, who it'd be probably quite a familiar match to many we had last season in League One, where we might be going there as the favourites, but we know how tricky they can be. Well set up side, well coached side, defensively in particular. So yeah, I think there'll be, again, hopefully some players getting opportunities, but we want to build on what we did last week, which was win. We hadn't done that for a few weeks, so we want to win again.
And obviously trying to win away from home as well, which has been a bit of a challenge for us, is regardless of opposition, you want to get that winning feeling again. Exactly,
that's exactly it. So we've got 3 home away games in a row coming up. So this is the first one of them. So hopefully we can get off to a good start in that.
And Cambridge 10 unbeaten, I think it is now, and only a couple of points off the automatic promotion places. So they're enjoying a good season and an opposition that you can't take lightly.
Yeah, they're good. I mean, we played them at the last game of last season, and Neil had just gone there, but you got a flavour for how he was going to set them up. And I think defensively, I think they're the best team in League Two. They're in the playoff positions, I think I'm right in saying. So they can play a couple of different systems. They're going to be. This is going to be a tricky match, no doubt. They've got a couple of players that would have played against us last season anyway, or other clubs. So yeah, away from home, it's an evening game. The FA Cup third round, we all know what that means. So we have to be fully prepared and tuned in.
Is there any positive updates you can give in terms of injuries? Alex Cochrane, Keshi wasn't involved on Sunday as well, and just a word on Scott Wright. Obviously great to see him back in the matchday squad after nearly a year out.
Yeah, great news for Scott. I mean, he's been working really, really hard. There was a great feeling amongst the group to welcome him back, actually, because he's been out for so long. So he's there. Alex obviously has got an issue with his ankle. I think that he's going to be out for a few weeks. Keshi's doing okay. But Alex is probably the one that we're going to miss for longer, obviously, because of that. Again, he's played so much football, he's done so well, but another little setback for Alex.
Is there any time frame on Damari's potential return as well? I know he's been out for a little while now. I
still think we're looking into February for Damari. I think the original estimation was 6 weeks, but he'd be one that I would think with Damari would get back in a quick time frame. I think he's a quick healer. He's not injured much. He does really professional. So I think he'll do everything he can to reduce that time down. And he's got a good chance of it, just knowing what he's like. But I think we are looking right into February for that one. And Ethan Laird as well is step by step moving forward. So hopefully he can start training and being with everyone again in February.
And just a word on Bright Asai Samuel, who's in the quarterfinals of AFCON, which is coming up this weekend. Have you had any dialogue, conversations with him while he's been away and his progress and condition and everything?
No, I spoke to him just before, obviously, it all, and I haven't spoken to him since he's been there, but no, we're all supporting him from here. I think it's a big country and a lot of expectation for Nigeria in all these tournaments, particularly AFCON, and he's an important player for them. I know a few of the players actually in that Nigeria team as well, so I know it means a lot to them, and they've made a great start. They've got a really good chance. Just
finally, it is FA Cup third round weekend. It is one of the still coveted weekends on the calendar. I know the competition might have been devalued by some in the past, but just some memories from yourself on the FA Cup and what it means to you as a competition.
Well, yeah, I think it's universally, everyone knows it's the best domestic cup competition there is out there, the most famous traditional one. We want to be going as far as we can in it. One of our most memorable games last season was against Newcastle. We didn't win it, but we want more of that basically. So we want to go as far as we can. I've been involved in good cup runs with other clubs and got to the final obviously when I was assistant manager and we won it. So yeah, got good memories of it. We want to go as far as we can with this team. And it's all about momentum. It just doesn't matter. We had it last season. It doesn't matter what competition it's in. It's about winning, and this is the next chance to do it.
Good luck on Saturday.
Thank you.